everybody, and welcome back to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
I'm wearing shorts and I'm Brownie.
Woohoo!
I don't know how he's wearing shorts. It's freezing.
It is
cold.
freezing. It is very cold.
It's the right
It's
temperature.
cold. No.
So is this is episode 25?
Is it 25?
This is a quarter of 100 episodes.
Are you sure that it's episode 25,
I'm
Jeremy?
positive it's episode
It is
25.
episode 25.
Oh, my Lanta.
I just renamed the recorder, so I knew.
Yep.
What are we going to do when we hit 100?
Retire.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was like, well, time to retire.
Losers. I'm
figured
going
it
to
out.
have to find new co-hosts
That's going to be, what would that be?
next year.
Well, no.
18 months from now.
Yeah, so,
Ish.
18 months?
Well, 25.
well, so there's 52 weeks a year. We do one every week.
Yep.
Right? So
Oh, yeah,
it's 4
close.
weeks shy of 2 years, so it'll be in April of 2021.
Yep. Head into an early.
Oh, that is 18 months from now, isn't it? Jeremy did the quick math. I did it the
Yeah.
long way. It might be like my happy birthday to me. We're done.
So how I did that really quickly is it had been 6 months since we started, and that's 25 episodes. So I just multiplied it by 4 and then subtracted the 6.
Yeah,
that we
see,
already did.
Jeremy learned about how estimation works in
Yep.
school.
I
Stay
did.
in school, kids.
So, anyways, here's what's exciting. I have never had such emotion from a movie trailer ever, and this one has done it.
Yep, we're gonna date this podcast hard, but this is our first podcast since
Seeing
the Rise
the
of
trailer.
Skywalker final trailer has come out.
Ooh.
Okay, so all right, initial reactions. I mean, we were waiting. Chris, I called you. I said this is supposed to drop during the Monday Night Football game,
Yep.
which happened to be Carrie Fisher's birthday, by the way.
Yes.
Happy birthday!
I
And the
thought-
Patriots were playing, so I was like, "Yay! A reason to watch."
Hey, I met a person the other day whose favorite quarterback is Tom Brady. So,
And that should be everybody. Whatever. He's the most handsome person ever.
He's a...
okay, all right, Tom Brady. All right.
I
Brady
really am
loves
quitting the
Star Wars.
podcast now.
So, anyways, so I called Chris. I was like, "This is going to come out for Monday Night Football, and let me know when it comes out." So, and then tickets were also supposed to go on sale. And well, all right, we're going to just turn into that. So, I was ready for Chris to
Oh,
get a
yeah,
hold
we
of
went
me.
through a
We were
whole
gonna
crazy
just
thing for that.
boom. We were going to get tickets, right? And we were all ready.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happened was Kara was. This is how the last 3 times we've gotten tickets
We got tickets because of me.
because of Kara.
Me.
So, the Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and now The Rise of Skywalker. All of the times we got tickets, we've gone as a big group, 10 to 15 people. And Kara and I just get the tickets and we disperse them out. We find people, and then I just know people are going to want to go with us, and it's really fun. So it's been our tradition, and it's sad because that tradition, sad when stuff like that ends. But anyways,
Until episode 10 comes out.
Well, I was
Right.
going to say, they're coming out with another trilogy. It's just not going to be Skywalker.
well, that's my heart though, Skywalker trilogy.
Well,
But what if it's about
Old
what's that droid that you
Republic.
like? What if it's the Chomper trilogy or Chopper trilogy?
Oh, I would love Chopper trilogy.
Jeremy's like, Chopper needs his own TV show.
So we've also been watching the Resistance TV show, and BB9E is not gone yet, and he is a little jerk. He is a little jerk. He attacks this other BB. Anyways, all right. So
CB.
all 3 times that we've gotten tickets for for the Star Wars movies, Kara's been scrolling Facebook, and she finds out posted 1 minute ago tickets are on sale. So we're sitting there, and the trailer hasn't dropped yet. I haven't heard from you, Chris.
Yep, it was
And-
it was like midway second quarter still.
Yep. And Kara's scrolling through Facebook, and she's like, "Oh, tickets are on sale. Tickets are on sale." I run over to the laptop, flip it open. I'm like, try Fandango. And now Movie Tickets was my homeboy last time. MovieTickets.com was not crashed when The Last Jedi came out. They're the ones who got me the tickets. Fandango was completely crashed last time. This time, we have a Marcus Theaters near us. Their stuff was messed up. So Fandango would get you into the page. MovieTickets.com would get you to the page, but you couldn't pick the seats because Marcus Theaters' system was completely crashed. And we learned the hard way last time that you can't do it over the phone. You can go in person and buy the tickets, but you can't do it over the phone. So I'm like, Kara, the servers are down. She goes, goodbye. She did. She hopped in her car. And it was like a rainstorm that day. There's like 70 mile an hour winds that
Oh,
day.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, am I even going to be able to get down there?
Think
Because
about
like,
it.
Worth it. Died getting Star Wars tickets.
That's what it came down
Mount
to.
Park basically flooded that day.
It did, yeah.
And that's
it
where
was,
Duluth 10 is, for all of you who don't know.
Yeah, there were waves breaking over the top of the
did-
walkways on the piers.
Yeah.
Like we have footage of the just people standing there, be like giant waves.
Didn't you say that we had like typhoon
The hurricane level winds or something
winds.
like that.
I think
that
they clocked in some of the wind speeds at like 75 miles an hour on the Wisconsin side.
I think the threshold is 70 for hurricane winds, isn't it?
We had 70-mile-an-hour winds that day. We had a
Just
branch
ridiculous.
fall down. We have a huge tree in our yard. We had a branch downfall that was bigger than my arm, like break off.
So it was like
Maybe
a little
like
twig?
But it was between our cars, and it hit the ground so hard, it dented down
it was like,
almost 6 inches into the dirt.
I was like,
Dang.
man, if that hit my car, I'd have
It
a
would've-
hole in the roof.
It would have done some serious damage. So anyway, so Kara's driving, and I'm frantically. I've got my phone going. I've got my browser with 3 pages going. I've got Fandango. I'm refreshing. I can select the tickets, no problem. Just couldn't pick seats.
Right.
So I'm refreshing and trying. I'm checking Reddit. I'm checking different sites. Is anybody getting tickets? I'm freaking out. And it's like, come on. It's 2019. You know you're going to be bogged down.
Yeah, to buy the extra server space for 25 minutes.
You know it to be
Get
true.
the bandwidth ready.
Yes.
Well, okay, so in their defense, though, they have already sold more tickets than Endgame.
Yes, according to pre-sales.
Yeah, they pre-sold more than Endgame.
Right. So, I mean, I'm sure they were gauging, like, Endgame was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they were gauging that, like, oh, it'll probably be less than Endgame because of how bitter people were about The Last Jedi. I'm sure they were like, you know.
I've been loving reading. I found a whole thread all about that, about people. There was a specific thread that says, did you see The Last Jedi? Complain about it, but buy tickets for The Rise of Skywalker. People are commenting, and their stories are great. They're like, well, just J.J. Abrams, and the first one was good, and so I'm gonna... But it's so funny, because it's like, you know, people were...
So I think I mentioned this like right after I think it was around the time that we started the podcast. I had rewatched episode 8, and it wasn't like, initially I was like, episode 8. I didn't hate it as much as a lot of people did, but I didn't really like it that much.
Right.
Rewatched it, liked it a lot more, and I was like, if J.J. Abrams somehow recontextualizes the events of episode 8 to make sense, because there was a lot of negative outcry about Empire Strikes Back when it first came out. And it ended up being the most popular one of all of them. Now, I don't think that'll happen with The Last Jedi.
But it could redeem it some.
Yeah, I think there could be some redemption going on in episode 9 for episode 8.
I agree.
That's the trouble with the middle episodes of trilogies.
Right, and especially, you know, it's like, there's a lot of questions that they obviously want to answer, and they tried to downplay that, you know, in episode 8, you know, like Rey's parents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm going to find interesting, which is like Snoke and Palpatine, like how do they come into playing a role together? Were they related? Because if there's no relation there, it's going to be a little bit weird, because then they should have just threw in shadowy puppet Palpatine and just kept him shadowy and secret.
Well, yeah, because like you have to think what happened to the Sith users, because Palpatine and Darth Vader both go out within, you know, a day of each other, basically.
Right.
Depending on how fast you want to, whatever, you know, less time than would be necessary to find another Sith apprentice.
Right.
You know, so either they're breaking the rule of 2, which I don't think has ever once been true.
Right.
I think there's only ever been 2 Sith. There's always more than 2.
Well, so we're doing the rewatches, you know, over the episodes, and even like Vader is trying to convince Luke, together we can strike the Emperor down, you know. So it's like Vader's trying to take out Palpatine and use Luke, and so there'd be 3.
Yeah, and then like I don't think I'd have to double check the timing, but like Palpatine had to have been working on Dooku before he lost Darth Maul.
Of course.
Right? So it's like he's already like this rule of 2. So the Sith just don't play by any rules. And you try and like, always 2 there are. Yeah. Yoda, you're wrong.
Right. Well, so that's what I was going to say. I've been having fun doing the rewatches. So we went and talking about The Last Jedi. I got those footage of Yoda from Empire Strikes Back, and I just love that Yoda so much. It made me think fondly of Yoda in The Last Jedi, because that movie I could talk about, and we'll probably talk about it when we do episode 8, which I'm getting really excited to keep doing.
We're getting close.
Yep. And so what Leia's scene in The Last Jedi pulled me out. Like there was things that happened that made me didn't feel like this wasn't Star Wars anymore. But when I saw Yoda, it pulled me right back into my seat, and I felt like
those were the best scenes.
That was the best scene. You know, the tree, and Yoda starts it on fire, and he
it
just like yeah,
the shocked Pikachu face.
Yes. And so I went back when I got done grabbing the clips, and I threw on episode 8 and jumped to that scene and just rewatched it. And it is an amazing scene. It's so funny. And it's nice to see Luke still has stuff to learn.
Small complaint. This is the me ragging on Jeremy section of the podcast. You missed like 6 clips that I was looking for.
Well, get it to me after this, and I'll get it to you.
I already got them.
Oh, you got
But
it.
it's like, if you watch the stupid episodes, instead of just going off your notes, I wouldn't have to do your job for you.
Oh, yeah, because there were a couple times, and I was like, you guys didn't list this. You guys didn't list this.
So, yeah, like the only shot of Slave 1 you gave me is when it's chasing the Millennium Falcon. So, like, you don't really see the exterior of the ship.
That's true.
So then I had to get, like, Han getting loaded in once he's returned into Carbonite Man.
Spoilers on what's coming up for likes, dislikes.
Yeah, well, I mean, people know what the movies are.
Well, yeah, but they don't know our likes and dislikes.
Yeah, well, I like...
Everything.
Okay.
Anyway, so back to the story.
So back to this. So yeah, Last Jedi aside, Kara ran all the way down there, and she was able to get a majority of the tickets from down there. And then right as she was like about to buy the tickets, swipe the card there and get them, the servers came back up, and I was able to grab ones next to the ones that she got. So
and it was really funny though, because I was talking to the lady, and I was like, "You guys don't do call-ins, right?" Because I didn't know if they changed.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, no. She's like, we've been having people call us for the past however long the tickets have been for sale. And she's like, they've been asking to buy tickets over the phone. She's like, nope, you have to come down here. So.
We got a crazy lady down here right now. She's buying them all.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on down. So this is the biggest batch we've ever done, 16 tickets.
Yep. And all of
far.
them are spoken for except one.
Except for one.
And if you want to join us, no, just kidding.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, we do have a live studio audience.
Yes, today.
Sorry, Jim is visiting us today. Former roommate, current friend,
Welcome, Jim.
fellow dork.
Follow the applause sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So anyway, so Kara was able to do that, and then so that was like we came down from the rush of having to get the tickets and just that feeling of that.
Well, and you guys hadn't even seen the trailer
We
yet.
hadn't
at
even
that
seen the
point.
trailer.
I
So did
got
you-
back before the trailer dropped.
So did you watch the official one, or did you watch the one that I sent you?
You sent the trailer, and then you sent me that link. So I clicked the one you sent me, and we opened that on the TV. So I saw the one you sent me.
Okay.
But then
since
Jeremy
then,
was
I've
like,
watched-
I need to rewatch it. And
Yeah,
so
then because
we watched
the
actual
official one didn't get posted, I think, until after the game was done.
Right.
But-
Right. And so now let's get to the trailer. So here's
good.
here's what was crazy for me. We've got teaser trailer that dropped at the Star Wars Celebration, which
Amazing.
In one of the first podcasts, we talk about this being the year of Star Wars, and it
Yeah.
can't be like any. That's the truth right there. And so we had the teaser trailer drop at the Star Wars Celebration, and I'll never forget that moment because
I
Kara and
did lose it a little bit there when they showed Carrie Fisher
in the teaser.
in the teaser trailer
Yeah,
where
teaser.
she's hugging Rey.
They've used that same shot in all three trailers.
Yeah, because I imagine they don't want to give away too much
Yeah,
of what they
that's
have.
yeah. But yeah, that's the shot they're
which
talking
are all
about.
which are all it's all footage that they weren't able to use in The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
Which is I'm glad they have it.
Yeah.
That's like Chris's theory is why we don't ever delete any footage.
Yep. Because if
So-
Jeremy dies, we already have enough stuff to just keep the podcast going for 25 years.
He's together just random podcasts of everything.
Well, you saw. So this is a quick sidelight. So when Jeremy was in New Orleans, I had a couple different options for putting Jeremy into the show, and I don't know if he ever showed you the one where I just took a freeze frame of him and composited it in over, so it just looked like Jeremy was frozen in time, but you could
That's
hear him
so
talking. So literally, I would just do that, but then maybe I would just get like some sort of mouth flap.
Right.
I would just have the three poses of Jeremy, like happy Jeremy, insulted Jeremy, excited
I just
Jeremy.
switched between them,
Yeah.
based on whatever he was saying.
and then in 1,000 years, Fry can unlock me,
Yep.
let me out. So, anyways, so back to April, right? Star Wars teaser trailer comes out. We were in a room with 30,000 other people at the Star Wars Celebration. It was an absolutely fantastic thing to be a part of because the room went silent. You ever try to you could have somebody up there yelling, probably giving away money, and you wouldn't quiet 30,000 people because somebody just wouldn't care. That trailer came on. It's like you could hear a pin drop. And it was the coolest thing. And everyone was glued on the screen, just on the massive screen. And then the trailer gets done and people are freaking out. They're applauding and everything. And then the next thing you see is everyone on their phones rewatching it. So it was like you went from everyone craning necks this way to craning necks down as they're like watching. We were doing it. We were waiting in line they had the mock-up of the interior of the Millennium Falcon there. And then we were waiting in line for that. And it was like a 30-minute line. So we were, about halfway through it at that point. And so it was like we were watching the trailer over and over as we were waiting to get in line. And then you go sit in the Falcon. And so that was really cool. So you had the teaser trailer. Then you had the D23 trailer. So D23, which was Disney's big con.
Was that
convention.
the Generations one?
That was like every 1,000 generations more than you now.
I thought up to this, prior to the one that we just watched, I was like, that's the best trailer for a movie I've ever seen.
It was so good. And the
very
fun
good.
thing, that one just is like nostalgia all over because it cuts
it
through
opens
all
up with A New Hope, into Empire Strikes Back, into Return
It goes
of the
in
Jedi.
release order, I think,
does.
for when
Yeah.
it's showing the
It
thing. So it's like, it
does.
just drags you through like the order
Yeah.
that many of us have seen the film.
Wait, you didn't catch on that before?
I didn't, not until
I
Chris just said
totally
it.
did.
Yeah, Yeah.
Wow.
It was like playing back in my mind. I'm like, okay, and then it jumps to Obi-Wan
Yep.
and Darth Maul, and then to 2, and then 3, and then 7.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's crazy cool. So, okay, so we'll break down these trailers. What we're talking about, the newest trailer. So we have the final trailer. You texted me. It's up. We threw it on the TV, and it's just like, that was the only thing. That was like one of my best days I've had in a long time, just knowing that trailer dropped. And it was good knowing we had tickets. So that was what was super cool. So it comes on and it plays through, and it was like I like didn't weep, but it was like my eyes got watery and like a tear when C-3PO's line.
No, that part.
So
I
like
literally
spoiler alert if you
same-
refuse to watch trailers.
Okay,
I know
so here's the
people-
thing. Give me a point. Right here, there's going to be a link to watch the trailer. If you've not watched it, watch it because we're going to be talking about it. And spoiling a trailer isn't a big deal, but just
Right.
watch the dang trailer.
I
Watch
do
the
know
dang
there's
trailer.
quite a few people who do try to go into movies with zero information.
Okay, so also,
So-
point right down there. This is the time you can skip to if you don't want to hear us talking about the trailer. All right, so
Which is going to be the end of the episode. No, I'm just kidding.
this time will go away when we're done talking about it.
So here's what's cool. Cause I know somebody who's not watching the trailer, and I've convinced him to watch it since. Is Bill.
Okay.
And
I was
so,
going to say, everybody, all of our viewers know who Bill is.
So Bill was like, I'm going to hold off on watching the trailers. But he said that every time he does that, stuff ends up getting spoiled. So like Dumbledore and Harry Potter and stuff like that.
I'm just kidding. I have seen
Right. So he was like, it always ends up blowing up in my face. And I have to say, like, you said, it's one of the best trailers I've ever seen because it's wrapping up a 9-movie thing. And just the way that they did the scenes and the cuts and everything, it's an experience in and of itself to watch that trailer. Like,
Yeah.
it just got me so hyped for the movie.
Well,
It's
It was amazing. It was,
loaded with Easter eggs.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
can-
yeah, totally.
Keith and I were talking about it because I had asked him if he'd seen it. He said no, and it was one of the nights that I was working late. And so I had him watch it, and I had to like run over to the printer or something. So he's watching it while I'm not there, and I come back in, and he's rewatching it, like he's putting it through the second time, and he's picking out all these little things or whatever. And he's like, "Man, I'm glad that I watched this trailer."
Yeah, it's an experience in and of itself. So I highly recommend watch the trailer because it really it builds up the hype for a movie, and it's going to be a great movie. I can't wait to see it. It's 2.5 hours long. The official runtime was released. It's
It says the longest one, right?
longest Star Wars movie to date. I think it's going to be excellent. So now we can break down the trailer. So for me, it was like I was really getting hit in the feels there with C-3PO.
Yeah.
And
This is about like halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way
just
through.
about halfway through, and he looks right at the camera, and they're like, "C-3PO, what are you doing, man?"
And he's hooked up to a ship.
Right.
I don't know if it's the Falcon or not, but he's hooked
Right.
up into something. Like he's patched into whatever. So you can tell like something has gone awry. That C-3PO is interfaced with
Right.
whatever technology he's in. And so I'm just setting the scene.
Yeah, and so then and he looks, and it's just like I didn't even expect it. Like like C-3PO, what are you doing? And we had seen the Red Eye trailer or the Red Eye scene from the D23
Right. So that
trailer.
has to take place.
So it's
right
got to be
after.
somewhere to do with it. But then he does the taking one last look at my friends, and it's like oh
I know. I was like,
And
Yeah.
so I was looking at like the Star Wars Celebration page and everything like that is blowing up with memes and stuff, and they're like, honey and like husband and wife or whatever laying in bed or significant other, and they're like, oh, why are you crying, dear? And he's like, they better not kill my boy C-3PO, And there's all these memes about like keep C-3PO alive, and it's like I will be really, really, really sad if they kill him.
Well, so
he's been in all the movies.
The only thing that makes me think that he won't die is the fact that in episode 5 he gets blown into 500 pieces.
I mean, it's true.
And they put him back together.
Right. It would just be if he did like a suicide mission where he
Right.
couldn't be recovered to put back together.
I want to be something like the computer and the Falcon.
Right.
So like if it was some situation kind of like that.
Well, he talks to the computer on the Falcon in Empire Strikes Back, so maybe those two end up in the Falcon computer together in love or something. I don't know. She droid love because she loves
imagine-
Lando.
Can you
L3
imagine
with
L3
C-3PO.
and 3PO? L3 is she
LCL3PO.
Cyclops.
right? Like she is the complete opposite of 3PO.
They make a
Like
good couple.
no manners. She's just like sassy McQueen. And then 3PO's like, I'm human cyborg relations.
So here's so we got C-3PO right in the middle. We got some cool new stuff. We've got horses. We've got a new character that's introduced. That's the guy working on C-3PO. It's the first time we've seen him in live action. There's a Lego minifig of him. But what I'm blown away is in The Force Awakens we get introduced to the First Order, and in The Last Jedi we see a lot of the First Order. But it seems like this is so crazy because in a lot of the canon books, the First Order, this is the Empire's coming back. The Emperor.
Right.
What's going on there? Palpatine's, but he's got to be back for real.
Yeah.
He's talking.
Well, there's that shot, like I think the last shot of the trailer where it looks like it's behind like his throne, and you see like the edge of the cloak and everything.
And there's Rey in front of
Yeah,
him.
and he's saying it's like I was expecting. I can't remember what he says now.
Right.
So I've
Been waiting for this for a long time or something.
Yeah,
Crap, now I can't remember.
He says, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time.
yes.
That's when they pan to his throne. But then there's the scene behind him showing Rey. And
Okay.
I don't remember what he says exactly there, but I mean, Jeremy will attest to this. I screamed. I was like, oh my gosh! I'm so excited.
And then I've always been a big fan. Like, it's so hard to just not just love Empire Strikes Back because you see the iconic AT-ATs, you see the AT-STs, you see the Star Destroyers and Super Star Destroyers, which, because that's what I've seen, that's what I love the look of. And the First Order stuff is snazzier, but it's not classic. They're raising Star Destroyers up from the water, and there's a massive fleet of them and everything. It's like, that's not the direction I thought the movie was going to go in.
No.
This feels like completely a different way than I was expecting, and I love the direction it's going. It's going to be an epic space opera battle.
So there's the thing that I wanted to dive into a little bit more and try and figure out is, so there's a scene inside, like Rey and Kylo. There's a few different interactions they have, but there's one where it looks like maybe at first they're fighting, but there's like that thing that's in the foreground that based on their follow throughs, it looks like they both attack it together.
Right.
It's like, what is that?
I don't. Jeremy and I rewound it. We paused on it. We tried to figure.
Yeah, Keith and I were
out,
frame by framing it. So for people that don't know, the left and right angle brackets are frame by frame on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So we were just like, we were going through frame by frame trying to figure out what it was, and that's like we just you can't tell what it is.
No.
It's just
Right.
something that disintegrates when they hit it.
Well, funny enough, to me, so there's the scene Kylo's in in Force Awakens, he's got Vader's helmet, and it kind of looks like a smoldy Vader's helmet when it's played at normal speed. When it's frame by framed, it looks like a black tower or whatever, like a black thing.
Well, part of me is like, so after.
Do you see Rey's got a knife in her hand too?
I did not see that.
She has a
It's
knife
in
in her
that
hand. It's
scene.
in her offhand, and it comes through the rumble, and you can completely see a normal like blade. It's like, what is she doing with a lightsaber and a blade? Dad, don't see those in Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess I was so focused on the thing, I wasn't really looking at their hands.
Well, about like the black thing that they knocked down, and I don't know if it could be, but after the Emperor dies, the
Allegedly.
remaining.
Or
Okay, well, you know what I'm saying. In Return of the Jedi, when he blows up in the Death Star or whatever, shortly after that, a lot of Operation Cinder goes into effect.
oh yeah,
And which
it's canon. It's Battlefront 2 is based on it.
Okay.
So
Emperor wants
basic-
everything destroyed. If he
Yep,
can't rule a galaxy,
everything.
everything's destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what he does to make sure his orders are followed through is he has these droids of him, like with pre-recorded messages and stuff like that he sends out to his generals and whatnot. And so they basically view it as Emperor Palpatine. So I'm wondering if maybe that could be something.
I think he's back.
Well, yeah, but I
I
mean,
think he's just straight up back. But the funny thing
Will you
is,
be disappointed if he's not, if it just ends up being one of these robots?
I wouldn't be surprised. But the thing I find interesting is, so he was all about trying to learn how to bring people back to the dead. That's how he lured Anakin
Yeah.
to the dark side.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
the secrets he stole from Darth Plagueis.
Yes, and that was the thing, is he still hadn't figured that out yet. Like, the one thing funny enough, the joke was in episode 1 or 2 is he could save others from death, but not himself. And it's like, well, did Palpatine pull it off? Did he save himself from death?
Horcruxes.
Yeah.
actually, that's really funny. There's a meme going around that is a Horcrux,
Way to go, J.K. Rowling.
right?
She called it 20 years early.
Yep. So you've got the Star Destroyers coming out of the water. You have all your old characters you love. There's the desert place, and they're shooting those yellow like color explosions, and that was a big deal about. Wasn't really the color drive like there wasn't in The Last Jedi with the red and the salt, which was just beautiful
Yeah.
footage.
Crate.
Fantastic footage on Crate there, and it looks like we're gonna get more of that. Just that kind of a cool. I like where they're going with a lot of their cinematography too.
I wonder if we're going to get more, because we only got whatever the casino planet was. I can never remember.
Canto Bight,
Canto Bight and Crate were the only two planets
the
we
two
got.
new ones, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Those are the only planets at all.
Yeah, it was either the
Space, Canto
space.
Bight,
Yeah,
or Crate.
Yeah.
So it was like the most limited variety of places.
Right, and we know now because we've been specifically addressing that in our reviews of the movies. So you got You have Rey running through the jungle. We don't know what that is and the significance of that. We have the Star Destroyer and Death Star crashed. Is that Endor's moon? Is that actually Endor? Like, what is that? Because the shield generator and the Ewoks are on the moon of Endor. Mm-hmm. And then, so where is that? So we have all this new footage to discover and everything like that. But it's gonna be who's gonna live, who's gonna die. The trailer was just fantastic.
You forgot one of my favorite scenes.
Well, the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, when all of the ships,
the ships,
Resistance Armada, just woof, they're right there.
Well, and so that was one of the lines that was really struck with a lot of people too. Is Palpatine says the line, "Your coming together will be your undoing," or whatever. And it's like, oh, what is going to happen in this movie?
I thought during my first watch of Episode 8 that Rey and Kylo were going to switch sides. I thought that we were going to have Dark Rey and Light Kylo.
Right.
And then they sort of team up for like 5 minutes, and then they just go back to what they were.
They pull the lightsaber apart, and that's back.
Yeah. So, and it's like, I'm wondering if that is still in play, where like they might switch teams or team up or something like that. And maybe that's the thing where it's like,
it almost appears like that though.
I'm gonna so like with them destroying whatever that thing is, like ashing that totem or whatever it is. And I know I've brought this up before, and I never really have seen. Other people might have talked about this, but this whole like bringing balance to the Force thing with Anakin, and I know that I've talked to you guys about this, where it's like the Jedi think that bringing balance to the Force is eliminating the Sith, right?
Right.
But like you can't have the light without the dark, right? So and eventually he knocks it down to there's Yoda and Obi-Wan and Anakin and Emperor Palpatine. The Force is balanced.
right.
Right, and then and then when Luke's talking about it's time for the Jedi to die and all this stuff, it's like maybe the Jedi as a name and the Sith as a name disappear, and it's sort of like a gray Force type of thing where it's like you use both sides in balance to be able to do greater,
right?
And that's
like Ahsoka.
So and that's the type of thing where it's like. I never see a lot of people sort of talking about that. It's always about, it's like, you have to get rid of all the Sith so that the good guys can win, or it's just never addressed. And I think that, in my mind, I'd really like to see it go that way, because that makes, so they're fulfilling this prophecy that they set up, technically at the very beginning, but, in the middle with the prequel trilogies, but he's going to bring balance to the Force. And if it's the end of the saga, and this is the ultimate end of his legacy, the idea that the Force, as we know it with the strict light and the strict dark, gets taken down and is balanced with the gray Force users.
Right. And so, I mean, that was a big thing that hopped out to me, too, though, is the thing that also, you had The Force Awakens, you had The Last Jedi, and then you have the title of the movie. To see Skywalker put directly in the title changed my expectations for this movie again. Because it's like, we thought this movie was about Rey. And then when The Last Jedi didn't address her lineage, that's what the trilogy's been focused on, is her predominantly. And so you have this title come out in The Rise of Skywalker, and it's like, well, was the movie about Rey, or was it about the Skywalker saga? And the fact that if it can tie all of the movies together, it would be incredible. And it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. Because technically Kylo Ren is a Skywalker. And I keep forgetting that, because it's
Solo.
Well, no, but Skywalker.
He's got Skywalker blood,
Right, Leia. Right. And so it's like, is it about Kylo? And is he going to have a redemption arc? It will be weird for me to see Dark Rey.
I still think that's a vision.
It's a vision or a flash sideways or a nightmare.
She's got the butterfly lightsaber.
That's the.
Oh, do you know who the only other Jedi to have that?
Who? Well, it's not
It's canon.
Well, it's not. Okay, it's canon, but it's not the normal Star Wars.
It's not what everybody knows. It's EU. It's from Clone Wars.
Who was it? Oh, it was
Captain Rex.
It was
General Krell.
General Krell, which is one of the best story arcs in that show.
It's on Umbara, and it's
dark.
Amazing,
it's
so good.
Dark. Clones killing Jones.
Clones killing Jones.
Indiana Jones. That is. Just kidding.
No, I read a funny thing too. So Chris loves Indiana Jones, and I love Indiana Jones as well.
I do
People
too.
were saying Indiana Jones is just Han Solo dreaming when he was in Carbonite.
Get some Twin Peaks level action happening there.
Yeah, that's just his what he's thinking about when he's he's like nothing like a good blaster at your side and a whip.
Yeah. So, I said no camels. That's 5 camels.
I love that movie.
That's my favorite line of I think anything. Is
it John Rhys Davies' character who brings those in?
Yeah. Sala is John Rhys Davies, also known as Gimli. From Lord of the Rings, so we're bringing it all together. So Gimli's having a dream about being Sala in Han Solo.
Yes.
We brought all the franchises together.
So anyway, so it's like, okay, so Skywalker, is that in reference to something else, or is it in reference to Kylo, or what's going to happen? Dark Ray, you've got that stuff too.
Do you think there's going to be a Force Ghost Luke?
I absolutely think Luke.
There better be.
I know there better be, and if there's not, I'll be.
I
I'm
want-
gonna
oh,
throw this
I
off.
already think he's credited in the movie.
I want to see Force Ghost Luke fighting potential dark side Force Ghost Palpatine.
That would be. I would pay to see that.
That would be the best.
Well, here's the thing.
That's
though.
the rise of Skywalker.
The Sith can't come back as Force Ghosts. That's why
That we know
Palpatine-
of.
that we know of.
that we
He might be able to
know,
manifest
yes,
himself a different way, and then Force Ghost Luke has to kick his butt.
Maybe they
Because you
can't.
know
Maybe
he
they
will.
can't be blue and sparkly, but they could like inhabit somebody, or he could.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
possess
It'll be
someone.
like what the flashy girl from Ant-Man and the Wasp. The girl that can't.
Oh,
quite-
Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
Phantom. She disappears and comes in people
Yeah.
and takes them
That's
over.
what he's
going to
be like. He can't quite control it.
And then to end the feels for the trailer, the fact that they did "The Force will be with you" and then with Luke's
And then
voice,
Leia
and
says
then Leia is always. It's like, oh man, they really just outdid themselves here. They've got a lot of heartstrings to play with for everybody.
Freaking hyped.
Oh, it's insane. The other funny. Okay, so anyways, that's the whole Star Wars trailer to me. Is just you get to see the characters that we've learned to love, the new ones. You get the characters that we have loved through all these movies, and
There's characters you're hoping to see.
we're hoping to see.
I know because you see Ghost right behind the Falcon. This Ghost is from Rebels.
Okay.
It's the ship throughout the whole entire thing. But you see that right behind the Falcon. Jeremy's theory is that you're going to see like 80-year-old Ahsoka.
Yeah, which would be super cool.
That would be pretty freaking dope.
Because
that
it's
be-
plausible. Togrutas live up to 200 years old, so she could still be around. Otherwise, we have some great characters. We have Ezra could be in there because he's disappeared.
Well, and
in
here's
history.
Well, what if there's time
You
travel?
nev-
There is.
I wonder if they would tie that up because at the end of Rebels,
Palpatine. What if Palpatine
Sabine-
used the tribe? Ooh, man, we don't want to get into this. Is some serious lore stuff. But to make a very long story short, okay, there's Rebels is about a group of people called the Phoenix Squad. You've got Kanan, who's in charge of Ezra. Ezra's a great character. He's young. He's learning to be. It's a kid's show, but it again meant adults watch it too. And he's got a great story arc. Kanan dies
Spoiler.
and gives his life to save the Phoenix
rest of the
Squadron.
Phoenix.
And so Ahsoka runs into Vader, and they have an epic showdown. And it ends. It doesn't show their fight. They stay together, and it ends. So Palpatine later on lures in Ezra, and there's a cave painting that have to do with father, son, and daughter. And he's able to open the painting, and he goes into a room that's all. It's like the inside of a clock, and all the Force is like connected, and there's doorways and different things. Well, Palpatine's trying to get through that doorway,
so
and is
he
like,
can come back.
so
into
he can
our-
come back.
What if he came back that way?
That's what I'm wondering.
What-
And so
Dang.
Ezra sees his master, Kanan, and wants to save Kanan. But if he saves Kanan, he's going to pull him out of that time frame
And kill off the
and it would
Phoenix.
end up killing him, and he would end up more or less killing himself. So he has to like leave that alone and let his master die. But what he does see is Ahsoka fighting Vader.
Doesn't Yoda, like the voice of Yoda, kind of come to Ezra at that point? What is it? I remember
well,
something.
Ahsoka, I think.
It was Ahsoka?
I think because he pulls Ahsoka out, and then he might run into Kanan. But so
Oh,
he
yeah,
pulls
that's what it
Ahsoka
is.
out from the fight from Vader, and that's that.
It's in a Sith temple, and like as the Phoenix fly away, the Sith temple collapses because they're in there trying to get the Sith holocron.
Okay.
And that's what Vader is after. And like when he takes it and opens it and everything, there's a fight over it, and that the temple starts to like crumble. And so that's why
Interesting.
Ahsoka dies. Vader gets out, but Ahsoka ends up dying at that point. But Ezra is able to go in and save her before.
And then, what's fun
collapses.
about this whole theory is it could be explained in the movie without people having to need to see that,
Right.
but it could be explained away. And then, if people wanted to learn more, they could always go back and watch that.
Well,
for a
and then
deeper
what I'm
explanation.
saying is, it could be Sabine and Hera, or Sabine and Ahsoka, because Sabine and Ahsoka
They
go
leave to
after
go find
looking for Ezra because
something happens to Ezra. He's not killed. He goes MIA.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
Deep,
so-
oh
deep
my
lore.
gosh.
Holy smokes.
Wow, I'm
it's
so
awesome.
excited now thinking about
Ezra,
this.
so Thrawn is a great battle commander, and Ezra goes to take Thrawn one-on-one, and he makes friends with animals that can go to the light speed.
And another, sorry,
And he saves them in a previous episode. So Ezra,
they're like space whales.
they're space whales,
More or less.
And so Ezra is on Thrawn's ship, and he like signals
The
these
Chimera.
space whales to come. And so Thrawn locks down so Ezra can't leave. So the space whales grab the Star Destroyer and take the whole thing to light speed, and we have no idea what happens. That's how it ends. So Thrawn, Ezra, and these space whales are together out in space somewhere. So Rebels ends with Sabine and Ahsoka going out and looking for Ezra in Ghost, more or less. So it's like
Interesting.
So I mean, that would be.
and then
sick.
so for us, when we see Ghost in the trailer, now you know why we get excited for that.
Yeah.
It's like, what? The ship's around.
Well, you see, there's a Ghost is in Rogue One.
Okay.
You see Ghost fly through in Rogue One. Don't you see Chopper in that too?
I don't know if you see Chopper, but you see Ghost,
for sure.
which is it gets super exciting.
So you were talking about
they might not explain it. It could just be a shot.
right.
Yeah, it could just be an Easter egg.
right?
Yep.
Which
Because that's what
would
it
be-
was in Rogue One.
Would be cool, but I really want to see they need to close out the Ezra arc. Yeah. Like, instead of just leaving it hanging. But you talked about Thrawn, and I don't mean to, completely jump off of the trailer, but they did announce the Thrawn TV show.
Yep, they're going to be a Thrawn TV show. And I want it to be
am
Benedict
stoked.
Cumberbatch.
Ooh.
Benedict Cumberbatch would be a sick Thrawn. Like, he's got the high cheekbones, the longer face. We've seen him play Khan in Star Trek. I think he's got the personality to play Thrawn. Easy.
And that'd be such a fun, and it's live action. That's the important thing to remember. And so it'd be so much fun to see. It'd be like watching a movie where you're rooting for you root for Thrawn. You like Thrawn. He's portrayed in such a way that you side with him.
Well, the only reason he's fighting for the Empire is because he's very calculated. He's very organized and everything. Like, everything he does has a purpose. He tries to look forward to make sure what he's doing is going to end up on the winning side, and so that makes he ends up becoming Grand Admiral Thrawn of the Empire. So the only reason he's with the Empire is he sees them as the winning team.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he's trying to steer them away from his people. His people live
Right.
outside in
They're
unknown regions.
Yep.
And so that's Palpatine's goal, is to expand to that point, so he can, from the inside, redirect traffic around his own
Okay,
people
that's
and keep them
cool.
safe. It's super cool. Great character.
Both of his books, excellent.
There's halfway through the third one, and it's fantastic.
yeah, I
It's
need
called
to read
Thrawn
the third one.
Treason.
Oh,
Interesting. So,
So,
speaking of,
okay.
did you see that? Man, his name is escaping me right now.
Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, that he knew 4 years
yeah,
ago.
I saw that.
What?
4 years ago,
Nope.
he knew.
saw
Tell me about
that.
this now.
Yeah, I saw it on Reddit.
I didn't read it. I didn't read anything about it, but yeah, I saw that he's known about this for 4 years.
Yeah, so basically, he was all the detail that I got was they have been working on this for 4 years, and he was told strictly to not tell anybody about this. And he's like, this is like a great burden has been lifted off my shoulders. All he wanted to do for the last 4 years is tell people, it's like, there's gonna be this super awesome Obi-Wan TV series.
I'm so excited.
Oh
I
my
am
goodness. So what's
my
fun is-
favorite Jedi.
You have to imagine, I'm excited for Disney Plus, which comes out in 2 weeks. I can't wait for it. I was actually excited when you said you want to watch The Mandalorian with us. Chris wants to come over and watch The
Oh,
Mandalorian
for
with us.
sure.
So-
Hey, we can
Or you can
review
come over
it.
to my house.
Yeah, right.
You guys are set up a little bit better for company.
But anyway, so I'm so excited for The Mandalorian. Oh, I have to tell a funny story. So really quick, Brett is my boss at work. Hilarious. He goes, "What's up with this new show?"
I had a boss ask me too.
He's like, "The Mandalorian. Why are they calling Boba Fett the Mandalorian?" And I was like, "Brett, it's a different guy." He's like, "No, it's not. That's Boba Fett."
You're
And I was like,
no.
"Brett, it's a different guy." And he's like, "You're over there thinking that." He's like, "It's Boba Fett." So then a day has gone by or whatever, and he brought it up again in the funniest way today. I said something, and he's like, "No, you're wrong. Just like about you and Mandalorian and Boba Fett." It just made me laugh because it's like,
It is not Boba Fett.
Yep.
Not in any capacity.
so I here's me, super nerd, trying to explain. It's like, okay, here you got this guy who's Boba Fett is a Mandalorian,
Yeah.
but this is about Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's like the
about-
species or the
yeah, it's
race
like
or whatever.
All fruits are tomatoes, but not all tomatoes are whatever.
He said that backwards.
All tomatoes are fruit.
Yeah, there
but
you
not
go.
Not
all
all fruits
fruit
are
are tomatoes.
Actually, so you want to know, technically, there's no such thing as a vegetable. All plants are fruits.
There you go.
In a very technical sense, the distinction between a fruit and a vegetable is
One's underground and one's on a plant.
well, that's not even necessarily, that doesn't hold for everything either. Like, scientifically, there's no difference between a fruit and a vegetable. It's just about savory versus sweet is where the original line was drawn. But then
Oh.
it's people are like, well, this has more characteristics of that, so we'll call this a fruit instead of a vegetable. There's really not like when you break it down and you're just looking at the technical spec sheet of a fruit versus a vegetable, they're basically the same constitution. It's just one's savory and one's sweet.
That's cool.
So there's not really, like, scientifically speaking, like, scientists don't care if it's a fruit or a vegetable. It's just a plant.
Oh,
you know? So
there's
fruit and
something-
vegetable is a culinary thing, not a...
Kara brought up a TV show today
Scientific
that was
thing.
kind of reminds me of this conversation, but we can save that. We'll come back to that in another podcast. It's a chef that uses science to cook.
Oh,
Chef versus
Challenges-
science.
yeah.
He challenges Michelin star chefs. She was telling me about it. So he made clear tomato soup.
Yeah. So what he did is he took this tomato, peeled it, stuck it into a thing, did not a food processor, but the thing it put
An
into-
immersion blender.
Immersion blender, yes.
Okay.
And then he boiled it or mushed
Blended
it all
it.
down.
And, yeah, did his thing.
Then he put it into jars, put it in a centrifuge. And so it's sitting there spinning, and it pulled all of the fibers and all of everything else that's not necessary, and it left the water, the flavor from it, the liquid.
The clear tomato juice.
Exactly, and he dumped it into a bowl, and he served that up as a soup. And the chef was like, okay, I get what you're doing. It's bland. I'm going to let you try it again. So he took the base of it, he boiled it a little bit, added
Reduced it, yeah.
Yep, added some spices, and he poured, it's still clear, poured it into a bowl, added some vegetable pieces, and he handed it to the guy. The chef was like, I see what you're doing. It's not bad. He was like, I want to use this and I want to perfect it. Can you imagine being served clear tomato soup though?
That is
It'd be,
super
it'd be
cool.
weird dipping your grilled cheese into that.
know,
Oh
right?
my goodness! It'd be soggy bread at that point,
Yeah.
but it would be tomato soup. That's
I
crazy.
thought of your sister though when I saw that because I think she kind of looked into science and cooking.
Yeah, she does some cool stuff with
yeah.
heat and everything else.
Okay, like all cooking is chemistry.
Right.
You know, so it's like Walter White would be like a
With lots of
20-star chef.
What were we talking about? There's a food I was talking about, and it was like the difference between it being good or bad is like it's like most seafood is like shrimp. It's really a minute or two before it goes from being cooked to
Right.
like rubbery or burnt. Like it's not that long. You got to like really hit the right window when you're cooking food. But we will have a food episode or
Yes.
come back to food stuff.
Back to
'cause-
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Back to Star Wars.
I was actually thinking this. We have been so far away from Star Wars for the past like six,
like
It's a
six
lot
episodes,
of fun
yeah.
stuff to talk about.
and now we're back on Star Wars again. It makes
Well,
me
we're
happy.
we can tell we've got Star Wars like on the like it's like turning the faucet on. It's like fire hose of Star Wars at the viewers.
Well, so like I've been meaning to talk to you guys. I was like, we need to find a way to tie a little bit of Star Wars and what we're talking about with this one. It's like
all
Star Wars all day.
Just, you cut clips of this and just sprinkle them throughout every single
Right.
episode. from the dawn
Wait,
of
they're not
time.
wearing the same clothes.
I am personally super excited. I want to get back into doing like Lego videos and stuff like that. But I love the reviews, and I can't. We're getting so close to the movie coming out, and we're going to be able to land right. Like one of my favorite podcasts or episodes is going to be discussing the Rise of Skywalker. That is going to be
I'm proud of
absolute blast.
you. You have gotten the name right every
really
single
had to-
time
I
today.
know. My new catchphrase is Rise of the Skywalker.
Because of our title, The Rise of the Podcast,
Yeah.
Jeremy's been calling it Rise of the Skywalker.
So
Which, by the way, our SEO is terrible.
I know it is compared to
Our what?
Our search engine optimization. People, if you search for Rise of the Podcast,
We're on like page like 19.
it cuts because of and the don't count, and so Rise and podcast, and there's already a couple like
Oh.
Rise podcasts. So
How do we make it better?
Change our name.
change our name, but it's okay. Well, if people if it'll work out once we grow.
Yeah.
If you search Rise of the Podcast in a year from now when we have 50,000 subs, it'll come up first page.
Oh, you think small? We're gonna have 1 million subs.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have 209.
Chris is a negative Nelly. He's a
I am. I sit over here waiting you guys down. Like,
Right? No. I'm already like freaking out because I want to do the new show, and like I want to be a part of the whole process, and like I just feel like a new gumshoe here or whatever, a new recruit trying to use Premiere Pro and After Effects and Dragon Frame and everything else.
You'll get
so.
it. Um,
and you're trying to learn how to use that drone still.
So funny story about that. I almost crashed it tonight. I was trying to fly under the bridge, thinking I was good because I watched that guy fly through a Jeep, but he shut off his obstacle collision detection.
Yeah.
So I was flying under the bridge, and all of a sudden, David and his friend are like, "Go up, go up, go up!" And I'm like, "What? And I look up, and it's like, "Oh, the drone's like 1.5 or 2 feet above the water. Up and out. Go up."
Well, you would think that the bottom collision detection would prevent it from hitting the water too, so it might just sort of like go like
Right.
bobbing
Even itself
through.
out?
Yeah, but
As long as I just don't know if it works against water. If it detects water,
like the
or not,
reflection or whatever.
you know.
well, so you like we could probably test that. Just get like
In shallow water,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
A kiddie pool.
Yeah, a kiddie pool or something. Like lower it down and see if it'll actually stop itself. Or
Right.
But
Anyway, so I've been trying to learn all that and come up with the reason to view those clips. But the people I've shown the drone footage to go nuts for it. It's so much fun. It's really a blast.
Now, are we done with the trailer?
I think so.
I think
Okay.
36 minutes in.
So this was Chris's idea to talk about Star Wars holidays, and which holiday is coming up?
Halloween.
So this isn't canon, but in Legends, there is Halloween in Star Wars.
So what does Star Wars Halloween entail?
It looks a lot like ours.
Just regular. So they have like Ewoks dressing up like bigger Ewoks.
Oh my
and going-
goodness. That's
Chewie takes the Ewoks out.
That's the planet is celebrated on.
So yeah, it's
is it
actually
Endor?
there's a number of them, but the
Or
ones
Moon
they
of Endor, yeah.
mentioned were the Moon of Endor, and then Coruscant. So
of course, Coruscant would.
Yeah.
So they celebrate them a little differently. Ewoks dress up primarily as ghosts.
Okay.
Oh.
Bed
Little
sheet ghosts.
Yep, little bed sheet ghosts. But they gosh, I need to look this up. Give me a second. I'm sorry.
So instead of candy, what do they pass out then?
I don't think they do. So
Spears?
it says for Ewoks of Endor.
Those things that they smash ATSTs
Right.
with.
So this is on Wikipedia. It says for Ewoks, the Ewoks of Endor, the festival was an annual highlight characterized by revelry, costuming, laughter, and a large feast.
Oh, there you go. So they just
So there you go.
cook
That's-
up a bunch of porgs and
A bunch of humans, you mean? So
Yeah.
okay. Speaking of that, somebody posted something, and it said, so the only way for the Ewoks to have had clothes that were right size for Leia was they had to have killed another woman Leia's size.
That's true.
Isn't that kind of more?
Oh, okay. So, keeping that in mind, the Ewoks had clothes for Leia.
Yeah.
But the entire Rebel fleet did not have clothes for Land.
Which that's going to come into play later on.
Oh, my goodness.
That's funny. That's funny. That scene is so funny.
I know. So a couple other things. During the Halloween of 3rd ABY, after the Battle of Yavin,
Yep.
a predatory creature known as a Hanadak attacked Bright Tree Village, but was coaxed into leaving when Wicket and other Ewoks placed pacifying blue Dlock leaves upon it.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Well, and then you had told me that, so one of my favorite characters, and which is really, I'm
That's on Coruscant.
going to flip back to when we made the parody video, and we probably the coolest retweet we got was by the lady that worked for Lucasfilms.
Yeah, one of the publicists.
Yep, one of the publicists. She had her profile picture was
Tracy
of
Canobio.
Yeah.
the Zillow Beast.
Yeah.
I love that episode in Clone Wars. It's an amazing episode. And
Is it Halloween related?
Yes, it is actually. On
Coruscant, they dress up as Zillow Beasts.
Yep.
Oh.
That's one of the, so they have multiple masks you can wear, but then the full costumes, they've got a purple furred Wampa, a green
weird.
Zillow Beast, and there was one other one. Oh wait, a Tusken Raider. Yep.
Okay.
Classic
hold
Halloween
on.
costume.
have you done your Tuscan voice on tape yet?
I think I have.
yeah,
done that.
yeah,
Oh,
I
all
think
right,
so.
all right. So anyway, we won't do it.
We
but
we can post that video somewhere.
If it exists.
If it
Otherwise, I might be
exists.
too lazy to do it too. There may or may not be a link. We'll see.
We'll see.
You'll probably see it in a future video. I think we did with the one with Janae.
Oh, did we? Yeah.
Because-
Oh, that's right. We did.
Yeah.
We absolutely did. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's going to be a link. Jeremy, give me a point.
All right.
All right, you look right there. You can find the video. More work for me.
So I almost got it down, but I won't do it. I do a mean Zoidberg now, but I will not be able to do it. I'd be too nervous to do it right now. So.
So
I love Futurama. I thoroughly.
Are we going to
enjoy
switch from a Star Wars channel to a Futurama channel?
No, but
Aw.
I told
Jeremy
you I
wants
want
to
to go as
cosplay
Bender.
as Bender.
I
be
love
sweet.
Bender. And so the one we just watched is with penguins, and
Yeah, where
they-
he's got the tuxedo
Yeah,
and he gets
yeah.
reprogrammed.
yeah, to live with the penguin. It's a funny episode.
Yeah, it is.
And so then he's sad because he's the captain and Fry isn't his friend anymore, and he crashes into an iceberg and breaks through 6,000 layers of steel in order to spill the.
Yeah, if only there had been 6,001.
What were the engineers thinking?
Oh my goodness, what a great show! I don't actually. So I understand why Jim has reservations about that show. We've had that conversation, but
I just started watching it. I had tried to watch it in the past, but I didn't get a lot of the references because I was younger when I tried to watch it. Now I get all of them, and so it's a lot funnier now.
yeah, it's a great show.
It's really funny. Anyways, so they had the Zillow Beast, and I love that episode. So the Zillow Beast is like the story of Jurassic Park 2. The T-Rex is cool, but he gets brought to New York and then wreaks havoc, or San Francisco, or wherever he comes from.
San Francisco, I believe.
And so he wreaks havoc.
Or San Diego.
San Diego, something like that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, just let us know in the comments. I'm not going to look this up.
But so the Zillow Beast is the same thing. Palpatine wants it because its shell is really hard, so he wants to use it to like make the Death Star. And so
that'll take a lot of Zillow Beasts.
Well, so if he can replicate it, and the only way, so they're going to try to keep it alive at first, and they're going to pull the shells off of it, but the only way they can do it is to kill it to replicate it. And so he gets loose, and because he's a good beast, and he wreaks havoc.
You're such a good beast.
It's like our dog.
I think I cried during that one.
It was sad. So anyway, when he dies and he lays, he's got a big long neck. He dies and lays down. He looks at the people for the last time and then shuts. It's dramatic.
What are you doing, Zillow Beast? Taking one last look at all of my friends.
Then Palpatine carts him off and does his research on him, but.
I hate Palpatine. What a jerk.
Know, he's a jerk.
You know what? I think that he might be a bad guy, you guys.
That's how good of a bad guy is he, though. He's amazing as a bad guy, as that character. Mm-hmm. So all this fun Star Wars stuff that's happening, I'm so excited for the celebration next year.
Me too. We're under a year now. We are definitely under a year.
Yeah,
at this point.
10 months away.
I've got to get cracking on my clone costume.
And I need to...
You should just go as Bender.
You're right. Well, so somebody did Bender R2-D2.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's fun.
They did Bender, and then the body was R2-D2. So,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny.
I need to fix my Ahsoka. That poor girl. She has.
Or you could just do another. You could just pick another person too.
Oh,
she's got a light ray costume.
I'm planning on next celebration. On going as Tora from Resistance and as Sonara.
Both from Resistance.
One's
a purple pirate and one's a speed racer with a white and...
the two buns that I do? That's her hair.
Okay.
Pretty cool. So we'll see. I need to get cracking on both of those.
And so...
Someday we'll make cosplay videos.
Someday.
The construction videos.
When somebody helps me get all set up with the videos and stuff.
It's not that hard.
Well, you gotta show me.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Gotta film at home. Need more lights.
You do.
You never have enough lights. Everything I always try to do, it's not lit well enough.
I've said that 1,000 times. It's like you'll never have too much light. You can have 5 suns and be like, if only I had a 6th sun. If only there was 6,001.
Yeah, I know. It's the frustrating part of it all. But and then I just want to do one shout out too. We had DuluCon, which we had a whole podcast dedicated to that. But I just wanted to say that it was really fun meeting a lot of people and. I want to reach out to some of the connections and friends we made and get a couple more guests on the show. And I'm excited for what's coming up. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's as good a time as any to wrap up, so I don't need to turn these off and on again. So if you like this video, go ahead and put a like on it. It shows that you support this channel and want to see more content like this. Feel free to subscribe if you want to sort of come back and check out the type of things that we're doing. Ring the notification bell if you want to get notified of every single video that we upload. It means a lot to us. It shows that you're really interested in all the things we're making here and you kind of want to be a part of the team. And comment down below with how you felt about the Star Wars trailer. What was...
I really want to know.
I want some theories. I want to know how people reacted. I think, universally, the C-3PO bit, without getting too deep into it, because obviously spoilers out now, but...
I want to hear the theories about our connection to Rebels in the new movie.
Yeah, so just comment all that below. We want to talk to you guys about this. It's super exciting. And, of course...
May the Force be with you.